Hey there, adventurers. Welcome to Let's Just Go podcast. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kayla. And today we're just going to have a quick little episode about Disney California Adventure Park at the Disneyland Resort in California. I love DCA.
It has 700.
I know, it's so long.
Yeah. The Disney California Adventure Park at the Disneyland Resort. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it too. I was thinking about it as we were preparing for this. For the same reason I love Hollywood Studios, it stays more relevant, right? So it's to the movies and either they're classic or a little more mainstreamed recently. So for me, it's the biggest nod to Pixar that they have in any of the parks, really. I mean, outside of maybe the Toy Story Land in Hollywood Studios, but I would say Pixar Pier is even, more of a nod, more characters to meet and greet, right? So why do you love it?
Oh my gosh, because it's the grown-up park. Like it's out of, I would say, even compared to Hollywood Studios, out of all of the parks, it is the most geared towards adults. You've got I'd say the most thrill rides within a park. Not that it's a lot, but like it's not zero. That the most thrill rides, you've got, I'd say, the best food options at any Disney park stateside. Both quick service and table service. You've got great entertainment. World of Color is probably my favorite nighttime show. The theming is impeccable. I mean, I loved when it was California themed. I thought it was really cheesy, but still a great time. I don't know. Did you ever go when it was California themed?
Nope, I wasn't there.
Yeah, it was really cheesy.
There's still some remnants of that, right?
Yeah.
Specifically Soarin' over by the Grand Californian Hotel entrance.
You forgot that it's called Grizzly River Run. You were going to say it.
Yeah, the bear one. I'm terrible.
The bear one.
The bear one. The bear version of Cali River Rapids. And I know we've talked about this before, but it is, as you are referring to them as stateside, it is currently the only theme park that has a direct entrance to a Disney hotel.
Yeah.
So you can walk out of your stateroom, not on a cruise. You can walk out of your hotel room and be in a theme park in 3 minutes max, probably less than that.
Depending on how long the line is for security. And if you have any ticket issues.
Can we actually talk about that for a second? Why do they not have the walkthrough that Walt Disney World has? God damn it.
I know. It is exhausting. I hope that I feel like there was a time in 2023 when they were like trying to pilot it, but it just didn't happen. I don't know why, but they're nice. They're nice, but also like my mom kept getting her glasses case flagged. So every single time she went through when we were at Disney World last week, she had to like take out her case, which was annoying.
True, but in that case, so it's kind of like what they tell you to do with the umbrellas. So if you walk with it straight in front of you in your hand, then it shouldn't go off. So,
and that's what she did.
I would agree, though. Let's go back to the food. I would agree with that, right? So you have some of the best options, the most popular, right? Lamplighter.
Lamplight Lounge is my favorite place. Why'd you call it Lamplighter? Like don't listen to anything Chris says about Disneyland Resort. He knows nothing. Listen to the pro here.
And what's the other one that has the outdoor seating?
Carthay Circle.
Carthay
Circle. Yeah. So Carthay Circle, if you dine inside, is a much more elevated dining experience. You can still go in like your park wear. Like you can be in like a t-shirt and leggings and that's totally fine. But you're going to feel like you should be wearing fancier clothes. But they also do, their alfresco dining, which is essentially their bar. And then they have outdoor seating as well, which is more like, I'd say tapas style and like small plates versus upstairs is going to have the full dining room. And it's absolutely stunning. Even if you don't dine anywhere, just go inside and walk around. It's also like one of the more expensive places to dine on property.
Outside of the
Napa Rose.
Yeah, I was going to say the restaurant at Grand California. It really is one of the most expensive options, but worth it nonetheless.
For sure.
And we've talked a little bit before how Disneyland has better food in general, right? So at both their parks, but they're not as mass producing as much, right? In terms of as Disney World's doing, but also in Disney California Adventures where they have any of their festivals, right, including the Food and Wine Festival. So that's a big win.
And their festivals do a really fun thing that Walt Disney World festivals don't, which is their passes where you can buy, I think that right now they're probably like, I think $60 for like 8. I mean, there's not a festival going on right now, but I think the last time I priced them out. And you get tickets to go redeem for food and non-alcoholic beverages. And if you have an annual pass, you get a discount on it. Walt Disney World could never.
And I thought you were going to say the other trick there is you can also order, if you don't have that, you can order from any of the booths at any of the booths, right? Yeah. And then just go with your receipt up and get it from the other kiosk.
That part is also great.
Yeah, saves a little time, a little tip and trick there. They, unlike Disney World, though, they have their Food and Wine Festival. Disney's is usually late. This year, it's late August through November. Yeah, so we'll call it fall. Disney California Adventure has it
in the spring,
like spring into summer. Yeah,
yeah, it's usually like April, May area.
But more thrilling. All right. So you also talked about the more thrilling rides. Agreed. Right. One of my favorite roller coasters in any of the Disney parks, the Incredicoaster. Right. I mean, they have that. They have the Cars ride. What's that called?
Radiator Springs Racers.
Radiator Springs Racers. Guardians of the Galaxy. Mission Breakout.
Mission Breakout. Yeah, that's my favorite ride.
For those of you unknowing, it is Tower of Terror rethemed, but a different version. It is awesome. It's an awesome ride.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned Grizzly River Run, which is, for those Disney World fans, it's very much like Cali River Rapids. So it's, the floating tube that you sit in. There's, 8 people can fit in it with the center console. But it's much longer than Cali River.
It's a raft ride, Chris.
It's a raft ride. It's much longer than Cali River Rapids. It's also much better. It's definitely it's a great attraction. And then what was amazing about that? The last time I was there, I was staying at the Grand Californian. We went on it 3 times right at the end of the night, and in less than 5 minutes, we were back in our hotel room, soaking wet but getting changed. So it was a nice. It's such a nice option to have to be able to walk in and out of the Grand Californian. And then we have a classic ride, more classic for folks. Soarin' feels more classic. Yeah. It's not.
I love Soarin'. And the Little Mermaid ride is at California Adventure.
It is.
Which I love. The one thing that we haven't touched on is that California Adventure is also the only park in the United States with a dedicated Marvel area. So Epcot has a Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. However, they don't have a whole land. They're just a one single ride at Epcot, where you have Avengers Campus at California Adventure, which has 2 rides. I think they just announced 2 more at D23. They've got a restaurant. They've got a bar. They've got a couple food trucks, a couple stores. Like, it's a whole place. You can watch Spider-Man fly through the air.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes safely, sometimes not.
It's always a little awkward if those videos are great when it doesn't work out.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, just so everybody knows, it's an animatronic. It's not a real person. So if you ever see those videos of him flying through the air and not sticking the landing, it is not a real human being.
But you're right, that whole section there, right? And it's the only place where you can meet so many of those characters, right? So on the Marvel, on the like in the campus building, they often have multiple characters standing outside, up on the balcony, looking down, right, where you're going to meet people from Wakanda.
But I've seen like Iron Man, Wakanda, yeah.
Black Panther. I couldn't think of the name. I was like, what?
They've got tons of shows too.
Lots of shows there. The Spider-Man ride, which is newer, right? So lots of things going on there and I would say it is, we hear a lot that sometimes Disney World is a little bit more, if we're going to gender stereotype, a little bit more in the feminine world with like the princesses and things. And there's not enough for boys, right, who are into some of those things, or girls. And Disneyland has that for sure. And it's at Disney California Adventure.
Also, like, you're comparing Walt Disney World to Disneyland. I just want to say one really big difference that I think is really important for people who have kids or who are adults in like a character phase is that both Disneyland and California Adventure have characters just out wandering around. You couldn't catch them ever at Walt Disney World wandering in the way that they are at Disneyland and California Adventure.
Don't understand how someone hasn't done a social experiment on that. Like, why is that the case? I think unbelievable.
It's the heat, honestly. I think that in Florida, it's way too hot.
True, but why are they not bombarded? They're not attacked. You just see characters.
It's because
around
I have rationale for this. It's because Disneyland Resort is a locals park. Walt Disney World Resort is an international park. And unfortunately, cultures are different. Like when it comes to things like meeting a character, international guests may not understand that we get in a line and we wait our turn and then we safely approach the character. And, stateside, we have a better understanding of that. And because there are way less international tourists going to the Disneyland Resort, there are things that they can just, I don't want to say get away with, but like if you're a local who has an annual pass and you come every weekend, the first time you see, I'm going to say Mickey Mouse in his Halloween costume on Main Street, because that's what's about to happen if it hasn't already. It's very exciting and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to go see him. But then you don't care after that. You're just like, oh, look at how cute Mickey is as you walk by. And like, that's it for you. You don't need to stand in line and get a picture. Where like people who this is their once in a lifetime trip, oh my God, they have to see Mickey Mouse right this second. And that's why he's inside in Florida and you have to stand in line for an hour.
And there's a lot more character like options to see, right? I mean, more obscure ones. Like, I mean, I know we're talking about Disney California Adventure, but I think about like Pinocchio and Geppetto, right? Right. Those sorts of characters that you don't always see in Walt Disney World. So we talked about the attractions. And then you briefly mentioned earlier the World of Color, the show at night. So a couple different ways you can see that, right? So you can, one, you can be staying at the Grand Californian and go to their viewing deck or have a room that overlooks it. But the viewing deck area, which is not great, it's kind of on the side. It's nice because it's not crowded.
Also only for club level, that's what you're talking about, right? The club level deck? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, is it only for club? I'm staying club. I don't know.
If you try, the cast members will scoff at you and tell you absolutely not.
But it was nice. It's just off to the side. And the other ways you can do it, you can do a dessert party, right? With priority viewing. You can virtual queue it, at least right now, right? To get. And then can you stand by it? I don't even know.
You can stand by. You also can be staying at Pixar Place and have a theme park view room. That will get you probably, honestly, a better view than Grand Californian will. You also can do a dining reservation that will give you a reserved spot. So it will not be a seat. The only way that you can sit and watch World of Color is to do the dessert party. However, you can dine and then they'll give you like a ticket that is essentially like the virtual queue, except you have a designated space that is for dining reservations that you can go and see. But yeah, you can just show up. You don't have to have the virtual queue. Virtual queue makes everyone's lives a lot easier, but you can just show up. You may potentially get wet, so keep that in mind if you are standing close to the front. I honestly won't ever watch it again without doing the dessert party, because at the end of a long day, the absolute last thing you want to do is stand around for an hour, like surrounded by strangers. Where like the dessert party, you get a plate full of food, and they are very accommodating of allergies, which is great. You get alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages. And again, you get to sit on your ass. You don't have to stand around. It's so nice. It's like, I want to say it's like $100 a person, or like in that ballpark. Like, it's not an inexpensive experience, but in my opinion, it is well worth the money.
It sounds. I've always had priority seating in one way or another, so
Mm-hmm.
I've never done the Gen Pop experience, but
Yeah.
that's where I'll spend my money. I'd rather spend that money on that dessert party, for example, to have that.
Yeah.
Um, and they change it up for Christmas though.
Mm-hmm.
Friends, they had heart bubbles floating through the air. And then they ended it with "Let There Be Peace on Earth," which for me is a very like churchy religious song, but it's a great message. And so, I mean, there was nothing better. So get your ass to Disney's California Adventure. If you stay at Pixar Place or Grand Californian, you have easier access into the parks. Pixar Place has
Mm-hmm.
a side entrance, kind of. You do have to walk a little bit. It's not like literally right in, as we talked about the Grand Californian, but two of the three Disneyland hotels have easier access to the park. Lots of options for people, kids and adults who are into Marvel, thrill rides, and good food. So there's no reason to not just go.
There's no reason. It's a fantastic park. If you haven't been, yeah, get your ass there. Or if you've been, but it's been, I'd say, more than 15 years ago. It's not the
Yeah.
same park it was at all. So
No.
definitely check it out. That was California Adventure. And until next time, let's just go.